First off, Dick, we didn't have a chance to do this the first time. Thank you for coming on with us a couple of weeks back, and sincerely appreciate you dialing us up here this morning after the news breaks last night that Will Wade reinstated by the LSU program. F. King Alexander, the president of the university, and Joe Oliva, the athletics director. We saw your instant reaction on Twitter. Now that it's official, what's the reaction from Dick Vitale? Thank you for joining us, and good morning again.
Well, no problem whatsoever. Obviously they met with him. He should have met with them initially. And, he's very fortunate. Think about this. They could have fired him right then and there on insubordination. Forget about the charges of the situation with the wiretap. But the fact that you refused to meet with a president, refused to meet with an AD, if they really wanted to play hardball, they could have ended it right then and there. But I think they were fair. I don't think there's any doubt they had to suspend him. I know you guys don't agree with me on that, but that's okay. But based on his comments, based on that wiretap, they had no choice. They had no choice whatsoever. They would have been crucified the university about a lack of integrity and all that. So they had to suspend them. But then I thought, were very fair. They stepped back. They eventually gave him the opportunity to come before them. And obviously, I wasn't there. You weren't there. We don't know what transpired. But I guess there's total denial on his part. And unless you can prove that there was cash laid out, I guess legally he has an argument. And obviously, they felt that way, and they reinstated him.
Well, and I think that the case is still not over. I don't think that he's been fully exonerated. I think he's just been placed back in his job, and there's still things that have to happen for that full exoneration to come. There's still that April 22nd trial date. Since our conversation, more news about college basketball has come out. Can't we agree now, Dick, that it seems like it's much bigger of a problem than what's happening in Baton Rouge, and now seems like it's more of a toxic problem for the sport?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that I've said that time and time again. I said it's a cesspool. It's not just Baton Rouge. It's a cesspool throughout college basketball. I wouldn't understand how you guys could think I was just talking about Baton Rouge. I'm talking about the whole nation. I mean, we got a problem, and the problem is going to be there because you know what's difficult to do, Jordy? You can't prove cash being laid out.
Yep.
I mean, how are you going to prove that?
Yep.
And that's the problem. And that's the dilemma. And then you got the shoe companies looking on all kinds of cash on families behind the scenes, getting these players. Think about this. You don't have to be a genius to figure this out. If it was proven that the kid Bowen, for example, it's been documented, it's been stated, his father stated it in the different court cases they had where guys were found guilty, that he's supposedly got $100,000. Now, if he's going to get $100,000, what about all these great one-and-done players over the years? What about their families getting money from shoe? If a shoe company's giving $100,000 to the kid Bowen, I mean, come on. Are we not naive to think that other kids have not received it? It's a mess. It really is. And I don't know what the solution is. I think the one solution is, and nobody listens to me about it, but I think the one solution is very simple. That if a kid is good enough, I don't care who he is, Zion Williamson, Javonte Smart, whoever the player may be, and an agent wants to give them money, let them get the money. Let them get the money up front. You eliminate all the sleaze. You eliminate the guys wheeling and dealing in the background. They become meaningless. These kids, we're in 2019. The Olympics. The Olympics are a perfect example. The Olympics finally came to reality to pay the players. Hey, millions. I just got back from the Final Four. I did the games on international ESPN, 211 countries around the world,
Yep.
Sean McDonough and I, and we're there all weekend, and millions are being made. Forget about millions, billions are being made by the NCAA and people out there getting zillions of dollars. And what does the kid get after the game? A handshake. Great job, great game. And I tell you, reality has set in. I make good money. Coaches are making millions. People are making a lot of money, and the kids now deserve it. And the one way to do it, if the NCAA cannot do it because they claim they don't have enough money to be able to give money to all the different outlets they got to give to lacrosse and baseball, basketball, tennis, swimming, well, then just make it if a kid can make an appearance. If a kid can go to a banquet and they want to pay him for that banquet, let them make that money. I don't see.
Or like North Carolina and Duke selling tickets for $1,200 a head.
They were calling.
Zion should get some of that money. I mean, the ticket value at the Duke North Carolina game. I mean, that was all because of one player. That was all because of Zion Williamson. What was your reaction to the report with Zion's mom?
Well, my reaction is, until we can prove, just like in the case of Wade. I mean, my reaction is I'm not shocked about anything I read anymore. Tell you the truth, it's really unbelievable. But what I'm really surprised is the fact that nothing can be really proven. I mean, there was some serious comments that Wade made. I think you guys have to agree with that. And that was really, reading those statements there, just really, really morally was not good for a university, certainly not good for him, and not good for college basketball.
Well, and so that's where I'd want to go next, Dick, is what does this mean for all of college basketball? Because a couple of years ago, right, we're talking about how this is going to tear down the sport, talking jail time, like 7 to 10 years. Then the guys get 6 and 9 months. The sentencing judge not really buying the case that the prosecution's laying out, knows that other people are doing it as well. None of the coaches, every coach that looks like he's dead to right, then gets out of it. Like, how much does actual change come from this?
Well, I really, I guess we got to sit back and see what happens with those trials that take place on the, I think you said the 22nd.
Yep.
22nd.
Yeah.
There'll be trials there. And I just got to sit back. We got to be cautious. I mean, we got to understand it. It still doesn't take away. Some people say, "Are you going to apologize?" There's nothing to apologize for. I mean, what are we going to apologize for? I didn't make those statements. The apology came from Wade. He's the one that made the statements, and they were damaging statements. They was just damaging as can be. A lot of other stuff. I'm going to tell you, I know you guys don't agree with me with this, and that's cool. You don't agree with me, and I can understand that. And I don't think you know me as well as guys like Tim Brando do, et cetera. If I thought a guy was cheating and I thought a guy was guilty of something, I would ask for his resignation. In the case of Rick Pitino, I know everybody said, well, he's a friend. He knows up and down that my job comes first and my family comes first. But I'm telling you, it's a crime that guy isn't able to get a job because there's never been one iota. He's never had an assistant coach arrested. He's never had a guy indicted. He's never, ever been on a wiretap. You can't show me a wiretap with him saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I want to pay this guy. Nothing. It's all an assumption that he should have known about his assistant coach doing what he did with the prostitutes and all. Obviously, that's terrible what transpired there. Horrible. But in reality, he sat out in 2 years of his coaching career. He's been penalized. He's a pariah. He was the big name that they used, the courts or the Southern District or whatever is in New York, utilized him as the big name because the Bowen kid was involved about the 100 G's. And the two guys on the witness said that Pitino knew nothing about this. Nothing.
And you believe that, Dick? You believe he knew nothing about that? You believe that Rick Pitino knew nothing about what was going on in his program? You truly believe that?
I believe he knew nothing about that prostitute stuff. I made him swear to me. I believe it. Maybe I'm naive, but I really believe that. I do. And I talked to his assistant coaches for years. Rick made one major mistake. You know what his major mistake was? He gave in to the AAU mentality, and he hired coaches at the end with that AAU background instead of what he had when he was, for example, when he had Billy Donovan, he had Tubby Smith, he had Van Gundy. Think about the assistants, the Willards, Kevin now at Seton Hall. Ask those guys. He gave them lectures every day. All I'm saying, look, he's made some mistakes, but not so much. He's never had a show clause. We got coaches coaching today, and I applaud that. I believe in giving people second chances. We all make mistakes. I think that's great that Bruce Pearl, Kelvin Sampson, they had what they call a show clause, could not coach by the NCAA for 5 years. Rick's never had that, yet he can't get involved with a job. And I just think it's unfair. I believe in giving people second chances. One of the biggest problems we have in our whole system, in the prison system, guy goes to prison. He makes a major mistake. He comes out of prison and he wants to do the right thing. He can't get a job. He can't get a job. So
I don't look. I think that Pitino's boat has sailed because of just the openings here. And Dick, I would just from what your stance on Pitino is, I would ask you this. Your approval rating with the college basketball crowd, probably before social media, was 99.9%. Has all of this been worth it for you personally, the backlash and the going back and forth on social media with all of the fans out there?
Is it worth it? I don't know what you're saying. Is it worth it?
Your approval rating with the college basketball crowd before social media was probably around 99, probably around 100%. It seems like now you've become a polarizing figure with your stances, whether it be on Pitino.
No, not really. If you come with me, my God, if you come with me to banquets I speak at, where I travel, where I just came back at the Final Four, lining up autograph sessions, fan fest for all these different companies I was with, Capital One, Coca-Cola. It's been great. I mean, obviously, look, whenever you make an opinion, you got to notice you're in a business. Whenever you make an opinion, and it doesn't satisfy the people where you're at, they're not going to be happy for that moment. Then reality sets in, and they understand. I'm not out to hurt anybody. I'm out just to do a job and do it as honest as I can, and I've lived a hell of a life. I'm getting the highest honor in the history you can get in broadcasting.
Yeah, no, we heard about it the first time. We appreciate it again, Dick. Thank you for dialing us up this morning.
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Thank you for calling us up this morning.
Oh, no, you guys, Twitter, you guys said you wanted me on.
Yeah.
No problem. Hey, if you guys want to do something really worthy now, promote my gala coming up in 3 weeks for kids battling cancer.
We'll do it.
Dick,
what's your
let him push it.
And they could donate.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Dick.